Hey, good morning, Facebook. This is your boy, Denoris Wilson, the brother. This is a special report, so to speak, of the BRI. Um, I hope the brother Nathan Bryant is is watching, right? Because we are at a point to where a lot of people have a lot of information. One of the major problems of today is people have too much information. And when you have so much information, you don't have the ability or you don't have the time to concentrate on a particular point and dissect it and investigate it and do a thorough understanding of it. Um, a lot of people take the information that they get and they disseminate it strictly off of face value, like strictly off of face value. Like prime example of disseminating information off of face value. The black unemployment rate is the lowest it's ever been. Let me rephrase that. When Trump was president, the black unemployment rate was the lowest it has ever been. And that's a true statement. Like that probably is true. But you got to put that statement in context. You got to put it into a context to where hold on, let me turn my mic up. Give me a little bit more volume. You got to put it in context to where you understand that that is true, but it's not solely Donald Trump's doing. When Donald Trump came in office, the unemployment rate of the United States was on a steady decline for 6 years. It was already declining. Obama and his administration, or whatever policy, I don't know if I'm not even going to attribute it to Obama. I'm not going to attribute it to Obama. I'm not going to attribute it to the Democratic Party. I'm not going to attribute it to the Republican Party. I'm not going to attribute it to anyone because I don't know what policies either of them put in place that would make the unemployment rate go lower. I don't know that. I just got to deal with what the statistics say. And the statistics say that the unemployment rate was on a steady decline when Obama was in office. And when Trump took office, it was still declining, right? So the brother Nathan Bryant, he told me that I'm getting up here and I'm telling black people false information. If anyone that has ever seen me or has ever talked to me and I told them who to vote for, please comment on this particular feed, because I don't tell people who to vote for. That's not what I do. And then when I mentioned to him that 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 I don't tell people to vote, he turns around and said, well, if you're not telling them to vote, it's the same way as telling them to vote. What? It's like, what? If you're not telling them to vote, it's the same thing as telling them to vote. No, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. But anyway, I digress. So we go on, and he talks, and he said that when Trump came in office, that the unemployment rate was an all-time high. And when I show him a graph of the unemployment rate low, because let's keep it real. When Obama came into office, it was in the beginning of the Wall Street crash, right? So the unemployment rate when he came into office was at 8%, and then it rolled because it was rising because of the crash, and then it rose to 10%. It rose to 10%, and he got it down to 4%. right? He got it down to 4%. He got the unemployment rate down to 4%, 4.7%. So when Trump got into office, the unemployment rate was already going down. But the brother Nathan Bryant would tell you that when Trump got in office, the unemployment rate was at an all-time high. And I asked him, I said, okay, if that is what you say, show me proof. See, I don't mind people giving me their opinions. I don't mind people giving me their opinions. But don't give me opinions and you ain't got no facts. And you don't have facts to back up your opinions. Don't do that. Don't, because they're just opinions. Give me some facts. And what I try to do, if I'm giving you my opinion and there's factual evidence out there, then I'm going to present the facts. I'm not just going to tell you, oh, Trump is responsible for, the unemployment rate going low. I'm not just, and not show you how he's responsible for that. I'm not going to do that. Because now you're asking me, or I'm asking you, if I did that, to actually just believe what I say and don't question it. No, Denoris Wilson, I'm gonna question. I'm gonna question things because I don't want to know something because you told me. I want to know something because I found out about it. And then he goes on to say, I digress. Then he goes on to say, we was talking about the parties, and he says, why would black people vote for a party, right, that wrote a crime bill that was responsible for locking up millions of black people? Valid point. Valid point. Then my rebuttal to that, well, because he's talking about Joe Biden and he's talking about the Democratic Party, correct? So why would black people vote for a party who we know and is documented that dropped crack cocaine in black neighborhoods to fund a war overseas? This is not conjecture. This is not me. This is not me just saying something. You can go back and do the research about Oliver North and about the crack cocaine epidemic. You can go back and do it. But it's only logical. We don't have planes. I'm not even gonna get into that. All I'm saying to this is, if you're gonna point out one party's bad things, you got to point out the other party's bad things. Yes, Joe Biden wrote the crime bill that sent black people, a lot of black people, to jail for anything drug related. But it was the Republicans that put the drugs in the community. Not the Republicans, excuse me. It was Ronald Reagan, Oliver North that put the drugs in the community. And to top that off, Ronald Reagan came on TV and said that the United States was not engaged in drugs for arms. And then he had to come back and retract that once it was found out. But people seemingly, they selectively forget these things. But when you live long enough, you start seeing things. You start seeing things. And if you actually sat back and thought about what you're seeing and took some real effort in thinking, you will actually be able to go underneath the surface of things and discover the real answer that you need. And that is why. And my point for making this particular post this morning is that, look, man, if someone presents you with information, it's right there in front of your face. It's in black and white. And you still refuse to believe it, then there's nothing that person who presented the information can do for you. Like every time that me and this brother Nathan Bryant got in a conversation, I present him with facts. I present him with facts. I show him that it's not coming from me. It's not coming from me, that it's factual. I can show you, where it originated from. But then when he says something, which he gives his opinion, he can't base it up with facts. He'll go and he'll show me videos of what someone said. It's just an opinion. Show me facts. Like, you have no facts. So I'm telling you this, Black people, we have to be factual people. We can't, we can't deal with superstitions. We can't deal with guessing. We can't deal with, maybe I think that. No, you got to be factual. You got to be factual, because once you get the facts, then you make your opinion on the facts. Then you make your judgment on the facts. Don't make your judgment on how you feel. And I don't even know really why I'm doing this, because I know the brother doesn't have anything else to do. And the reason why I know the brother don't have anything else to do, because after our conversation yesterday, I wake up and look in my inbox, and at 4:45 in the morning, this brother is inboxing me about our conversation. And this particular inbox was me talking about conservatives and liberals and the definition. I told him that a conservative is a person who is adverse to change. They want to stick as closely to tradition as possible. But a liberal is open to hear, is open to suggestions. When he inboxed me this morning at 4:45, he tells me that I'm wrong. So I didn't engage with him. I just went, Googled the definition of conservative, and I sent it to him. And he still refuted it. So right then and there, that tells me that the brother there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do with people like that. So you just gotta love them from afar and hope and pray, that they get some understanding. Because it's not my understanding or definition of the word. It's the definition of the word. I gave him the definition of the word. So if you don't want to accept the definition of the word, and I'm telling you, if I tell you my opinion on conservatism and it matches the definition of conservatism, and you still say that I'm wrong, that I don't know what to do with you, bro. No, I do know. Leave you alone. Because you're going to run my blood pressure up. You're going to get me off my dean. You're going to get me off my square. And I'm going to be involved in things like I'm doing right now, taking up time where I could be concentrating on other things, trying to address you. But I got to understand, and I got to get it within me to understand that everybody ain't where you are. And you can't force them to be where you are. I didn't get here because I didn't get to where I am in my thought processes because someone told me something. I got here because I did my own research. Now, am I always right? No. But I ain't always wrong either. And I try my best that if I'm putting that, because I understand that I am putting out information and people are going to be listening to it. Some going to be listening to it to see if they can get some from it. And some going to be listening to it so they can point fingers at me. I know that. I know that if I am going to engage in this particular platform, that there's a responsibility that I have to present factual truth. I understand that. So I do that. And if you ever watch the BRI, you will notice that I stay away from politics as much as possible. I stay away from religion as much as possible, because those things are personal things. Those are things that are personal choices. I can't argue with a personal choice. I can't argue with that. So I don't address it on the BRI. But this brother will inbox me stuff. Why ain't you talking about this on the BRI? Why ain't you talking about that? And I want to be nice, but I'm not talking about it because it's my show and I don't want to talk about it. Period. I don't want to talk about it. And I told him, I say, look, man, he goes live in his cab every day. He goes live in his cab every day, right? And if he never presents any facts, he's just talking. He's just talking. So if that's a concern of yours, or a particular thing that you hear people talking about or not talking about, then talk about it. You have a platform. We all got Facebook Live. We all got a phone. Then talk about it. Talk about it. But if you really want to take what you're doing and and be responsible about it, you would not only talk about it, you would present people with factual evidence, with factual, not just your opinion or not the opinions of others, factual evidence, things that someone can go back to and investigate for themselves. Now, do you know, me personally, I'm 53 years old, and I've learned one thing. When you are engaged with someone and you're having a conversation and you ask them, well, where you get the evidence from? And their reply is, do your own investigation. That means they ain't done the investigation. That look, even in school, you're taught when you're writing a paper, if you use something from somewhere else, you have to give a reference. You have to let people know that this is reference from this book, this chapter. You have to give a reference if you're using something from somewhere else. And I try to do that when I'm presenting people with facts. I try to say, like I presented him with the Obama fact about the unemployment rate, and I showed him a graph of it. And you know what his rebuttal was? You showing me a graph by people who hate Trump. So if I show you a graph of what I'm basing my opinion on, and you still refute it without even first asking me, well, show me the link, without even doing any of that, you're just trying to antagonize me because you're not willing to do like the investigation. You're just trying to. So it ain't really about me. He says I spread false information. If anybody on here that's watching that knows me and that has ever talked to me and I've ever given them false information and they found out about it, please comment on my page, comment on this. And I'm not saying that I haven't gave out false information in the past. I'm not saying I haven't done that, because I know I have. But I didn't give out false information intentionally. I gave out false information because I took what someone said and believed it. Had I went in and did some investigation, I wouldn't have gave out that information. So I didn't give out that false information intentionally. I gave it out. And it doesn't lessen the fact that I gave out false information. Yeah, I gave out false information, and it's my fault because I didn't do the investigation. But what I'm saying is I didn't give out that false information to deceive anyone. I thought at the time, I probably thought I was helping someone. But if he says I give out false information, and okay, that's his opinion. But how do you know the information is false if you don't investigate it? How do you know? Like, if you don't investigate it, how do you call anything that I post false? You can only call it false when you provide information to rebuttal it. But I digress. Look, man, next month on the BRI, we have an exciting lineup. Man, I have been trying desperately to get some brothers on the BRI, man. I have been reaching out to brothers and that have businesses to do interviews with them. And let me tell you something, man. The brothers, they they don't want to do it. If you notice, the majority of my guests on the BRI has been women, and that's not my intention. I want a wide variety of I want both genders to be represented, because the Black Research Institute is not just about Black women, it's about Black people. But the brothers, they've been real standoffish about coming on and being interviewed about their business or their organization. But next month, I'm full of brothers. In April, I am full of brothers. I got a good lineup. I'm preparing the treatment for the lineup, and I'm happy to be sitting down and interviewing some of these brothers. Some of them, I have a football coach. I have a community organization leader. I have a cigar company owner. Um, and I think I haven't pinned it in yet, but I think I have a writer as well. So and I'm excited, man, because it's all brothers next month. In April, it's gonna be all the brothers for the BRI, and I'm excited about that, man. I'm excited. I had a great interview with Courtney Williams last night, man. I have all my interviews I enjoyed. Just to let you know some backstory. When I contact someone to do an interview initially and they agree, I don't speak to them anymore until the interview. I don't converse with them. I don't talk to them anymore until we do the actual interview, because I want the interview to be organic. I want it to be us having a conversation centered around what they do and who they are and what makes them who they are. So that's why, you know, I don't talk to them. So most of the people that I've interviewed, like Courtney, I don't know. I don't know personally. I just look at what they're doing online. I follow what they're doing. And I try to, when I get someone online, when I ask somebody to interview, I don't just go to a page and be like, yo, you want to do an interview? No, I try to look at, 10 posts that they make and see what the vibe is on the posts that they make and how they are before I bring them on. So man, I'm excited, and listen, man, we are still in the gambit once again. So let me do this. We're still in the gambit, and remember, if you want to um support the cause. So let me tell you, let me tell you about what the Gambit is really about, and what this fund is about. The Gambit is about reparations, but not reparations coming, because reparations is to repair, but not reparations coming from anybody else except us. It is my belief that if there's going to be a repairing of Black Americans, it first must start with Black Americans. Like, we must begin to start to try to repair ourselves. If our institutions are to stay viable, then we must invest in them. So the Black Community Sovereign Fund, right now, I've set up to be a fund that will be um, to support, financially support the historically Black colleges so that they can, hopefully, the ultimate goal is for the HBCUs. If you are a Black high school graduate, the ultimate goal is the HBCUs are free. That's the ultimate goal for me. That they should be free. So, and the only way that they can be free is we as a whole come in and we all donate. Like we all donate as a whole to one fund. And that's what the Black Community Sovereign Fund is about. It is about us donating to a fund so that it can help keep our Black colleges viable, right? That's what it's about. But so remember, we're still in the gambit. We're still trying to do things. Monday, tune in Monday. Got a brother who's been doing some excellent work with the youth in our community here in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. And that excellent work actually started paying off for him. Um, and it's great to see him prosper and do what he loves to do and do it good. So Monday, man, is gonna be great, man. Come through, have an enjoyable weekend, man. And for those of you who celebrate Easter and the Passover and all that thing, I hope you have an enjoyable Easter. But remember, in order for you to receive a blessing, you must first be a blessing. And I'm gone. I think I'm gone. Wait a minute. Am I gone? Yeah, I'm gone. I think so. But look, everybody have a good day.